Okay, hello again. I'm back. I told this commenter I was going to make a little follow up in regards to the comment left, and I got sidetracked and I got away from it, and I'm back tonight to probably make a few videos and just get some things out there. And I wanted to honor what I said and come back to this. So this is a comment from TDMC123, and it's just like a few points that are made that I want to just pick out. So the first one here, let's see. Okay, so and again, I guess Davis MJ Aurini. This is in regards to the previous video that I did about his review of Black Panther. So again, he's trying to get black people riled up, showing that, oh my God, Ryan Coogler employed white people and maybe a feminist, and he's going by his own prejudices and hatred of SJWs and trying to convince black people of the evil nature of this movement. Well, that's what I was getting to. But the funny thing is, employed white people. It was so, and I'm not going to do it because you can go watch his video and you'll see exactly what he was trying to do. And I get what he meant and why he phrased it that way. But he wasn't necessarily at that point trying to say, oh my God, he employed white people. He was talking about echo parentheses white people and maybe a feminist. And it's funny because the whole crux of his argument was, well, black men who go see Black Panther, they're forced to buy sneakers, they're forced to see Black Panther, you're a cuck, just like a white guy, 30, 40 something going to see Star Wars and play with a lightsaber is a cuck. It's really reaching for a lot of reasons. I don't want to get on too much of a tangent, but I'll just say that for now. And so, yeah, they don't really care. I mean, these are people who are actively participating in, these feminists and, I guess, good whites, good liberal whites, in making, the black male image a lot of what it is. They're the ones working probably behind the scenes shooting that, rap or hip hop or R&B video that has, some brown chocolate black men looking sexy, looking suave. So the same people who probably make a film like Black Panther behind the scenes, whether they're white, Jewish or feminist, are probably the same people in the production studio or the recording studio when they're recording their album, when they're in a commercial for like Budweiser or Doritos, and they're the best black pal friend of some white guy, on the weekend eating chips and drinking beer. So it's just this weird analogy because these same types of people make those commercials and make those other types of advertisements that black men have no problem with because it's elevating their image. So it's just really funny, and that's why it's such a reaching argument. I don't know why he made it, but I know why he made it. And again, that's more to come soon. I'm doing some research. I'm going to put together a nice full-length argument about what I'm trying to get at, particularly when it comes to the red-pill MGTOW type of white men, especially the ones that kind of are either on the edge of it, they kind of weigh and also the kind of white identity pools. Whether it's the alt-right, official, just a general white nationalism sphere, that whole scene, they bring some of these weird types of dual, I don't know if it's not dual loyalties, there's just this kind of cognitive dissonance about black men especially. It extends to black women too, but since primarily that's more what their focus is. Oh my God, the poor little black boy in the hood. Oh my God, his single mom abuses him and hates him, and, anyway. That's for definitely a more full-length treatment. So then further to the comment, so then let's go watch Zulu or go watch Star Trek Deep Space Nine with some badass black people. It was such a random thing to say, and I just didn't really know where he was getting at there. And I mean, I wouldn't call him a cuck for it. I just thought it was just really specious thing to suggest. So then, let's go a little further down. Now, this is kind of where with your comment, I didn't really catch this before until I was rereading it just to shoot this. I mean, the Black Panther is a movie about technological utopia that is populated by one race that has hidden itself in order to protect itself. And then further on, you say, but what annoys many extreme right-wing commentators is the fact that it's an anti-white movie, but because it goes against the narrative of racial inferiority that's been pushed at one time or another during the past 4 years. And I don't think that's not true at all. And I don't really, I think, how do I say this? There are differences in race, IQ, intelligence. There's a lot of nature nurture. racial inferiority or superiority. See, I really, this is even where my critique was sometimes, well, a lot of times with the alt-right and with a lot of white nationalism, they have to be, because we all, in black nationalists, black separatists, and everyone does it, but this, somebody being inferior or superior to, it's not the right argument. And I think a lot of people, particularly when you get to more the general white identity side, nationalists, alt-right, the whole spectrum, they don't sometimes mean to do this, but they do it, but then they're like, well, no, everyone should have their own homeland. But I'm going into a tangent there. But like, I don't think the film pushes back against it at all. Because the funny thing is, that I kept thinking, is such a fictitious film. It's really, and like, because he was definitely writing his original review, Davis Aurini, about the weird science in it. It was just like this it is so funny, the joke about black people, sub-Saharan people, black people of sub-Saharan African descent, whether in America or other parts of the globe they may be, this kind of magical mysticism, this kind of ooga booga-ness that was so jarring about this film and this vibranium. I mean, the science in the film was just laughable. It was just goofy. And I think I kind of felt a little sad after seeing it. I only went because I took my mom and she really wanted to see it. And also, and I can talk about this later, there are black women who look like me, not a whole bunch of like the varying replacements that they keep trying to replace and erase us with in the film. And that was a primary reason. If it had been Halle Berry and then maybe Zendaya or the girl with the mixed girl from the Disney movies, whatever her name is, I wouldn't have gone to see it. I absolutely wouldn't have. So like, but the funny thing is, I just kind of felt a little sad at the end of the film. Like, this really, it didn't really fit. I mean, yeah, it was all technological, but that's the thing. I think a big part of the problem with the film is it just felt like this big, like, here's this big shiny, box of like stuff. Look at this guy's dazzling effects and this magic vibranium. I don't think anybody's upset or being annoyed by that. It's just, it is what it is. But I'm going way too much of a tangent there at that part of your comment. But so then this movie, although just a movie, just another movie out of Hollywood has ever done, portrayed an image of a powerful black nation that was never colonized or conquered, that is richer and more advanced than the U.S. Well, yeah, but again, the science and the hokiness of Wakanda is just so goofy that like it just really feels like this imagination hour. And one thing that I kept thinking about was, why did it have to really? It could have, to be just how fantastical the science and the effects in this whole story was. Couldn't they just have told that without having it relate to the real world at all? Like, couldn't this have been a completely intra-African story? Like, they were fighting against some other African village or comparable Wakanda across the way. Like, they had to have the whole thing, oh, the dad was also a scientist for the UN or whatever he was, and he got shot in the beginning, and they're dealing with, like, the CIA, and then so American governmental agencies. I kind of just would have preferred it just had been a completely black movie that didn't have anything to do with the outside world, because it didn't really do anything but just be a fantasy. We look at the real life stats for sub-Saharan black people across the planet, so this is just like a piece of junk food kind of movie, in my opinion. I don't know. So, and then in closing, saying that they're cucks for like watching this is just like white guys a James Bond movie. Yeah, that's a little bit of a stretch too. But like, again, like I'm not beating up on you. Like, I get what you mean. Like, the whole cuck argument that he's making in this original video just makes no sense. This is an image that black men are very happy to see themselves represented as like the very reflective of those varying men in this movie, and seeing someone that looks like them on the screen. They are not being cucked or anything like that. I just think he meant to make a catchy video, get people to take a look and listen, which is a big part of the YouTube verse, and that's perfectly fine. Yeah, but again, I agree with you. Maybe not necessarily that example or that parallel, but again, what I just said about Star Wars. There's a difference between some white man with that makes at least 50 grand or maybe 100 grand a year, that has a wife, children, stable home and community, works 40 hours a week engaging in this, than Pookie on the corner, either selling as a bootleg, or Darrell with a nice city job or whatever, that might have an out of wedlock kid maybe 2 or 3 girlfriends, or, he's just, I mean, there's a whole lot of other scenarios amongst black men in this country to where, yeah, there's a difference between you going to engage in this fantasy when the real life stats for black men and for black people collectively in this country is absolute shit show. So the white man comprising most of the tax base in this country being, basically turning the lights on in the Western world and escaping for 2 hours in a movie theater is much different than the average black man who might be engaging in some escapism fantasy through this film. But anywho, I just wanted to get back and say that I replied. I know that was a little bit more rambly, ranty, but thanks for the comment, and I should be back with some more content shortly.